everyone, welcome to a new video. I'm Holly, and today I thought I'd share my top picks for horror movies you should probably watch before Halloween. I'll probably condense the title because that sounded like a lot, but you get the idea. We're going to talk about horror movies today, and some of my favorites. Let's get into it. Number one is The Blob. Recently watched this one. Pretty campy, pretty cheesy, pretty gory, and pretty fun. Not the 1958 edition. I have not seen that. I'm talking about the remake in 1988. So The Blob has all the best in-camera effects you can ask for. It's a little bit terrifying and a little bit gross. It's a good one to watch with friends though. Sit around and eat popcorn, one of those movies. The next movie on my list is The Thing, the 1982 version, not the 2011 version. I have a spot in my heart for practical and in-camera effects, and this one has all of that. It's very gory, lots of chest bursting, oozing. So plus Kurt Russell's in it. Love Kurt Russell. He's great. Yeah, don't watch this one if you're squeamish. The next one on my list is Shaun of the Dead, starring Simon Pegg and Nick Frost. It is fantastic. It is a great combination of comedy and horror. I've been a pretty big fan of Edgar Wright's work for a while now. I don't know if you've watched the whole Cornetto trilogy. Totally check it out. Still can't decide which is my favorite. I know it's kind of a tie between Hot Fuzz and Shaun of the Dead for different reasons. Next on the list is Evil Dead. You can watch the new one. Apparently they're rebooting everything, I guess, because there is a new version of Evil Dead. It's actually a pretty gross horror movie. Definitely watch it, but go back and watch the original. I like Evil Dead 2 the best. That one's my favorite. There's Evil Dead 2, Army of Darkness, and then there's the show. You should watch the show. I have both seasons that are out.
We gave peace a chance. Now it's time for war.
It's fantastic. Highly recommend. I really appreciate that with the show they continued on the path of the Army of Darkness Evil Dead 2 sort of feel, where it's kind of campy, there's comedy, there's a lot of blood and a lot of decapitations and deadites. Next on my list is The Conjuring. It stars Patrick Wilson. Don't get it confused with the Insidious movies because he's in both. Both are actually really good. I really like Insidious, but I prefer The Conjuring. You know what movie not to watch is Annabelle. Don't watch Annabelle. The movie made me so mad. There's just a lot of stupid things that happen in that movie that if I'm questioning it as someone who's very open-minded, then it's probably not very good. For example, there's this part where he puts Jiffy Pop on the stove and then, shuts the stove off, but leaves the Jiffy Pop on, and then the ghost turns it back on and it starts a fire. I'm like, if you're a ghost who can turn on a stove, that's the worst way to start a fire. And secondly, why would you leave that on the stove? When you turn the stove, you remove the thing from the stove in case of a fire such as this. I'm still upset clearly about this. Don't watch Annabelle. Watch The Conjuring, which is weird because they're in the same universe. You think they'd be equally good. My number one horror movie to watch every Halloween is The Exorcist. I've read the book like 5 times. It's one of the few movies that have actually scared me in my lifetime. I remember watching it at an age that was too young to be watching The Exorcist and it just not being able to sleep. It's the only one that's ever done that. I think it's to do with we have very intelligent characters. The mother knows that her daughter is not well and is trying everything in her power to fix it. Eventually opens her mind up to a supernatural possibility. And instead of denying it and letting things get worse, she finds a solution. And she's a fighter, and that's important. And then we get the other main character, Damien, who is the priest, to come into the picture, who is struggling and trying to find his faith again, thrown into this mix, and then, I'm not going to spoil everything if you haven't seen it. If you have seen the movie but you haven't read the book, go and read the book. There's details about the characters that the movie just can't portray. So when you read the book and you get inside their heads, you get this whole other aside to them, and you get to learn about them a little better. Unlike, movies are limited, there's only so much you can do. Anyway, I've rambled on about horror movies long enough. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you watch some of these. If you have or haven't, leave a comment below. I'm sure there's more to this list that I'm going to add in the future. Those are just some of my top picks. They're not all of them. The list goes on. There's still some I have to see. There's a lot of Cronenberg movies I haven't seen. I haven't watched Suspiria, which is a classic that everyone's supposed to watch. Anyway, thanks for watching. Have a happy October, and I'll see you very soon.